Picture this. You just received your paycheck, and before you know it, you're already wondering where it all went. Let's take a moment to talk about overspending. It's a term that gets thrown around quite a bit, but what does it really mean? Essentially, overspending is when you spend more money than you can afford. It sounds simple, yet it's a trap that many of us fall into without even realizing it. Now you might be thinking, I'm responsible with my money, I don't overspend. But let's be honest, we've all had that moment where we've looked at our bank account or credit card statement and thought, did I really spend that much? And that's exactly where the issue lies. In our modern society, spending money has become easier than ever before. With a simple click or swipe, we can buy almost anything we want, anytime we want. This convenience, while incredible, can also lead to mindless spending. When we don't physically hand over cash, we can lose track of how much we're actually spending. And this is especially true when it comes to credit cards. It's so easy to just swipe and forget, only to be hit with a hefty bill at the end of the month. But overspending isn't just about the ease of spending money. It's also tied to our emotions and our environment. We live in a consumer-driven society that often equates spending with happiness. We're constantly bombarded with advertisements and social media posts that make us feel like we need to buy more to be happy, to fit in, or to keep up with the Joneses. And then there are those emotional triggers. You know, the ones that make us reach for our wallets when we're feeling down, stressed, or even when we're celebrating. These emotional triggers can lead us to overspend, often without us even realizing it. So, does this scenario sound familiar? You're not alone. Overspending is a common problem. And today, we're going to delve into why this happens. So, what makes us spend more than we should? Often, it's not just about the material things, but the emotions behind them. We've all been there, haven't we? That moment when you're swiping your card or clicking that Buy Now button, and you just know you're spending more than you should. But why do we do it? It's because of emotional triggers. Let's start with stress. It's a common emotion, especially in our fast-paced, high-pressure world. When we're stressed, we might turn to shopping as a form of escape, a way to forget about the problems that are causing us anxiety. It's a quick fix, a band-aid solution, but it can lead to overspending. Then there's boredom. In those idle moments, when we are not really doing anything, we might turn to our phones or computers and start browsing online stores. It's a way to kill time, to distract ourselves, but it can also lead to impulse buying. Before we know it, we've filled our shopping cart and we're checking out. The desire for instant gratification is another big one. We live in a world where we can get almost anything with just a few clicks. We want it, we get it, and we want it now. But this desire for urgent satisfaction can lead to overspending. We buy things we don't really need just because we want them right away. And then there's the desire to fit in, to keep up with the Joneses. We see our friends, our neighbors, our co-workers with the latest gadgets, the trendiest clothes, the coolest cars, and we want to have them too. We want to belong, to be part of the crowd. But this desire can lead to overspending, as we buy things not because we need them, but because we want to fit in. Understanding these triggers is the first step to controlling our spending habits. It's about recognizing these emotions when they arise, and finding healthier, more sustainable ways to deal with them. It's about making conscious, mindful choices about our spending, rather than letting our emotions dictate our actions. So the next time you feel the urge to spend, ask yourself, is this a need or is this an emotion? Understanding these triggers is the first step to controlling our spending habits. Overspending might feel good in the moment, but it can have serious consequences in the long run. Picture this. You've just splurged on a designer handbag or the latest smartphone. The initial high is exhilarating, but then the reality sinks in. That one purchase has eaten up a significant chunk of your savings. This, my friends, is the harsh reality of overspending. So what are the impacts of this habit? To start, financial insecurity is a big one. When you're in the habit of spending more than you earn, you're setting yourself up for a precarious financial future. You might find it hard to make ends meet, have no safety net for emergencies, or struggle to achieve your long-term financial goals. Next up, we have the daunting D word, debt. Overspending often leads to debt, and debt can be a slippery slope. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill, growing larger and larger the further it goes. Once you're in debt, it can be incredibly hard to climb your way out. Interest rates and late payment fees can make your debt grow faster than you can pay it off, trapping you in a cycle of financial burden. And let's not forget about the stress that comes with overspending. Money worries can take a toll on your mental health, leading to sleepless nights, anxiety, and even depression. It can strain relationships, cause tension in your household, and impact your quality of life. The truth is, overspending can lead to a cycle of financial problems. It's like a domino effect. One reckless purchase can trigger a series of events that leave you in financial ruin. And the worst part is, the cycle is hard to break. It's easy to fall back into bad habits, especially when you're under stress or facing financial difficulty. But remember, it's not just about the money. The impacts of overspending extend far beyond your wallet. It affects your well-being, your relationships, and your peace of mind. Overspending is not just about money, it's about our well-being too. Now that we understand the problem, how do we overcome it? First and foremost, let's start with coming up with a budget. There's a saying that goes, what gets measured gets managed. Begin by tracking your income and expenses for a month or two, and then create a realistic budget that accounts for your needs, wants, and savings. Next, find healthier ways to deal with your emotions. Instead of turning to retail therapy when you're feeling stressed, sad, or bored, seek out activities that bring you joy and relaxation without costing a penny. It could be going for a run, painting, reading a book, or simply meditating. The key is to find something that soothes your soul without draining your wallet. And lastly, be mindful about your purchases. Before buying anything, pause and ask yourself, do I really need this? Can I afford it? Is there a cheaper alternative? And will I still want this a week from now? These questions can help you avoid impulsive purchases and make more thoughtful decisions about how you use your money. Remember, overcoming overspending isn't about deprivation. It's about understanding your emotional triggers, becoming aware of your spending habits, and making intentional choices that align with your financial goals. In the end, controlling your spending is about making intentional choices, not depriving yourself. So, are you ready to take control of your spending habits? We've explored the emotional triggers leading to overspending, the impact it can have, and ways to overcome it. It's time for some self-reflection. Consider your own habits and what emotions might be driving them. Thank you for joining us today. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insightful content. And tell us, what are some ways you manage your spending habits? Share them in the comments below.